Hi, I'm Andrew Drinkwater, President Co-founder at Plaid Analytics and an adjunct professor at the University of British Columbia. Today we're going to talk about joins and relationships in Tableau. And more specifically, why do they sometimes end up with different results in Tableau? So imagine we have some data about counties and active transportation modes with targets. Think of things like how many bicycles cross a point on a certain street. And we have two tables for this. These are vastly simplified based on public data, but again, very simplified. So we have two counties in Colorado, Denver and Boulder, and they have machines that read how many active transportation devices cross a certain point. So Denver has three of them and Boulder has two of them. This video is going to walk you through what happens when you join these two tables together versus what happens when you use a relationship for them. Our targets table on the right focuses on a target per county. It's a little bit more aggregate than the measurements on the left. So let's hop over to Tableau and see how this works using joins first. We've prepared a basic Excel file that has our two data tables in it. So I'm going to drag that onto Tableau first. And I'm going to double click on my measurements table, and then I'm going to make a join by hitting the drop down and going to open to get to physical layer. Now I can add targets and I can double check that the key was county, which it should be. When I go to my worksheet, I can put county onto rows and I can put the number of measurements by double clicking it onto text, and I'll do the same with target. And then I can make a simple calculated field to tell me the difference to target. We want to take our number of measurements and subtract the target from that. We'll double click that to add it. And so we can see based on this example that both of our counties are below the target. I'm going to name this one as joins. I'm going to duplicate my worksheet to save ourselves the work on the next one, and this time we're going to look at relationships. So here I'm going to duplicate my data source, and I'll rename this one as relationship for the second one, and I'll rename the first one as join just to make it a little easier to see what's what. And then I'm going to modify my relationship data source. I'm going to remove targets from the joins, and I'm going to zoom back out a layer to the logical level and put in targets. Now I'll go back to my worksheet. Nothing's changed yet, but I'm going to use replace data source, and I'm going to replace it on the current worksheet only. What we'll see here is that our targets are now more accurate. So Boulder is still under target, but only by 50, and Denver is in fact above target by 100. So let's go back to PowerPoint and understand what happened here. When we're making a join, we're using county as a key. The same is true of our relationships. But what happens in a join is that every row will get matched based on county. So in effect, what's going to happen here is that Denver is going to get 3 rows, each with a target of 600, and Boulder is going to get 2 rows, each with a target of 200. When these get aggregated after the join in Tableau, we end up with something that looks like this. Or more specifically, we end up with a target that's overinflated based on the number of rows because the aggregation is happening after the join, not before the relationship creates a join. And so what we see here is that our difference to target is illogical because of that duplication effect. Comparatively, when we make relationships, what happens is that the measurements table gets aggregated first to the level of detail that's on our chart. And now when we combine the two tables, we get a much more accurate representation. With apologies, that one on the right should say minus 50, not plus 50. That's how it works for joins versus relationships for this simplistic data set. Thanks for watching.